Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of The Eben Show. We have a special guest. We got the man, the myth, the legend, Kagho Gaming. How you doing, my brother?
Pretty good, pretty good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. And today's episode is one about Classic Plus, or the better question being the lack of it, the state of it, and the community reception to it. Now, this isn't about whether Classic Plus needs new raids or new zones or new things of that nature. It mostly comes out to what the player base actually truly wants from our Classic Plus. We're not talking about extra content, we're talking about core gameplay systems, core gameplay loops. So, for example, we're going to open up with a very big, interesting question: horizontal versus vertical progression, Calgo. How do you think they can make horizontal progression work in Classic Plus?
So it's like horizontal progression. Like I think the biggest thing that people look to for that is RuneScape, OSRS. Like they nailed horizontal progression, in my opinion. You can not play that game for years. Like I recently went back and tried it when everybody else was trying it as well. And some items I had were still best in slot. So I was able to like just keep going where I left off, sort of pick up after years apart from it. And I think that is a really cool thing. Now, for WoW, I don't really know how well that works. I want to say, yeah, it'd work great, but I just don't know. We've been sort of on vertical progression for 20 years. The best example I have is like Onslaught Girdle from Ragnaros. You don't replace that till Girdle of the Mentor Nax. Thunder Fury, legendary, like a few epic pieces, a few legendary pieces you go after there and get. You can use Mind Quickening Gem and TBC even as a mage. So like those instances pop in my head for good ideas of horizontal progression. And I would love to keep the previous tier sort of relevant, but it shouldn't be like a mandatory thing. Because eventually you'll get to the point, and I experience this in MoP right now. Like we have 3 raids to do, and we only have time for 2. We're just not good enough to do all 3 in 6 hours per week that we allocate for raiding. And it just is a weird predicament. And classic raids require 40 people and are really long. So I just don't know.
I mean, honestly, that's kind of exactly where I've been mentally, is that I think the idea of horizontal progression is key. But I think the Classic player base wants vertical progression because Molten Core to Nax is the very basis of horizontal progression. The next raid tier, because Nax almost fully invalidates MC. There are still items from MC that are good, but Nax almost fully invalidates MC. And I know people say about Onslaught Girdle and this and that, you can still use some trinkets and this. But for the average class, for the average person, Nax is like a 97, 96% invalidation rate for all the items in Molten Core. The next
Yeah.
rate tier, even if it's horizontal, even if it's only a 15, 20% increase in power from Nax, it makes Molten Core almost completely irrelevant and starts to invalidate, let's say, half or 75% or 80% of Blackwing Lair. To the point where horizontal progression becomes an issue because the definition of horizontal progression quite literally means that we as players have to figure out whether we would be okay with old raids becoming invalid. And I talked about this with Aaron in the previous episode, where a lot of people talk about horizontal progression all the time, and they look at old school RuneScape as the biggest example, like you said. It doesn't have endgame rating like WoW does. An item from 8 years ago is still just as good as an item from today. It's just a different item you're grinding towards or unlocking. It's a different kind of content, different kind of like item you're adding to your collection. So that's the issue, is that do classic players actually want horizontal progression, or do they want the idea of vertical progression but it's packaged as horizontal so they feel like it's horizontal when it's really not?
Yeah, and that's a question I don't really know how we answer that, right? I think vertical progression is just like I said, if I want horizontal, I go play RuneScape. I don't think we need to have like I like aspects of it, of course, like Onslaught, Girdle, Toe Up, those things. But I think WoW is definitely better as a vertically progressing game. Why change your identity, you know?
if it was to be vertical, I mean not vertical, horizontal, how would you actually make say they do 5 raid tiers, let's just say I know they're not going to, but for the conversation, Molten Core through Nax is tier 1 to 4. I know they're definitely not going to do that for an official Classic Plus, but in this context, we go through Molten Core, Black and Glare, AQ into Nax, and then the 5th raid tier comes out. How
So
would you
like
make that?
Sod.
Yeah, how would you make that 5th raid tier horizontal while also keeping people excited and wanting to get loot? Because we saw this issue in Phase 3 where they made the loot horizontal, where the loot was a side upgrade or a tangential upgrade, and people pretty much were like, why the fuck am I even raiding in Phase 3 in SOD? And there was other issues like incursions and all this other stuff. I'm not talking about the whole thing, I'm talking about the raid itself, where they made the upgrade so minimal, nobody wanted to even raid.
So I think it's best when power creep gets so high that people don't like AQ. AQ is a great example of when this happens. Like the AQ gear is significantly better than BWL. It's significantly better than Molten Core. And the PvP gear, people are usually hitting High Warlord around AQs when it came out originally, right? And so that kind of like lines up perfectly. AQ becomes that. You get a questing hub with Cenarian Hold where you can get some good catch-up pieces. You get the ZG, you get AQ20, you get those types of things. That's what I would like to see. Catch up rage, things like that, where people still have to do relevant content. It's not as good as the best thing, but it's good enough to get you there, right? You could go and you could do ZG, you could do AQ20, you could get to where you're doing AQ and Nax from doing those things instead of having to go all the way up. I think there's a point when something's been out long enough that it is okay to have that catch up stuff implemented and go after it.
So here's a hypothetical question I want to throw at you. Let's say we're in Phase 5. Would you be okay with them turning Molten Core into a 10-man dungeon? Same loot, same same 2 items per boss or whatever, but they effectively make it a dungeon. They make it easier. 10-person cap. Or do you think they should still keep it as a raid and just make it like as is forgotten content that people just stop running? A transmog
That's
thing.
So like, that's I'm not opposed to that as long as you still also have the 40-man option, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just almost in like I'm all for any change like that that's very drastic. I like it being an option, not a guarantee, not a necessity. I think one of the greatest things SOD ever put in was the 20 to 40 man raids. Like everything was scaled to 20. You had your people who did hard mode with 20 people. They were logged as mythic raiders. You had people who did it with more than 20 on hard mode, which was heroic. And then you had people just doing it on normal. And it literally captivated raiding in a way I'd never seen it before. Everybody could do what they wanted, and everybody was happy, and everyone got gear. Like, if you bring more than 20 people, you get less gear just by default. Like, the options were set there, and I think that was such a beautiful system, and I hope to see it back in future versions because it made from a guild leader, community runner, someone who is making those groups. It defeats the roster problem, which I think a lot of people are having. You can have 25 people, 30 people, whatever team you want, and people can not go, and then your hardcore sweaty people just have that 20-man roster that goes in. So I would like to see something more like that personally than just going from a 40 to 10-man MC.
Fair enough. I do like the idea of flex rating, and I will touch on that more later on because like Xaryu did a poll, and I did want a good dive over some of like
Uh,
the community receptions on that thing, and that flex rating is like one of those.
I call
Um,
that sod flex to be specific because flex rating in retail
is
is
different than
power,
soft flex.
yeah, power and loot scale with how many people you bring. So I
No, no,
just
for
want
sure.
to
We can we
clarify
can yeah,
that.
we can go over that a bit more in a bit. But just to finalize the horizontal versus vertical progression, do you think a classic plus that focuses on horizontal progression will be a game that lasts a long time?
Eh, I only want horizontal if we don't get an expansion, if we're not going further, right? And I don't know. I might be stuck in my ways, but there's like a way to do the progression that just makes sense, and there's a way that makes it really weird, right? Like if I don't want to be like if we stay at like horizontal for a while, people quit. as you mentioned with phase 3 of sod. Like when it's too horizontal, people are just like, why am I doing this? I'm not getting better. I'm not getting more power. I need more power. Like, or a lot of people don't raid for people or community. They raid to get that piece of gear. They raid to make their character better, more powerful. And so if you take that away, I just don't think it's very World of Warcraft is what I'm at with it. And I want like I said, I think we should sprinkle in more horizontal. Like we should have phase bis items in the first tier. You know, things that go like onslaught girdle, toe web, like really powerful, really awesome items that feel good to get. And you should want to get chase those and have them. Like you can use toe up in TBC as a trash trinket that you swap just for the spell power boost to kill things. That's how long that goes.
Very well put, very eloquent. I, I'm of the theory that you need horizontal, but it needs to be vertical that's packaged horizontal. I think they need to make the player base think we're getting horizontal progression, but it's vertical. Because I think if they do horizontal within 3 years, classifiers will either be a convoluted mess where people don't feel like they're getting any reward, any progress, and starts dying off, or it becomes a thing where you have so many different raids and content you have to do that it leads to massive burnout. OSRS does well with horizontal progression because it gives you a billion avenues, and they've literally outright said, I think it's like it takes 74 years to get everything. They've ruined the ability for anybody to get everything. You now have to pick and choose your battles. Whereas Classic Pass isn't going to launch with 74 years of goddamn content to grind towards. So,
Why not? No, I'm kidding.
I mean, it'd be nice if it did, but like, we'll see what ends up happening there. Which brings me on to the next thing that's based on the community wanting something and the devs doing something different, or the devs saying something and the community wanting something different, and that is GDKPs. Now we've had this discussion before. It's not anything super major. A lot of people want it or hate it, and it's debatable as far as the topic goes. So my question to you is: should Classic Plus have GDKP? Why yes? Why no? Ignore the
Oh,
botting, ignore the monetization, RMT. We'll discuss that a bit more in detail. Just GDKP as a system, as a loot system itself.
so
Ignoring the
GDKP.
botting and the RMT, just as communities and rating.
So
GDKPs.
it is the best system that's ever been designed.
Mm-hmm.
It rewards players who play good. It rewards players who don't necessarily need any gear. They get gold instead. So like it incentivizes someone who's played it a ton, has full bis to go help their friend who is a little less. The problem, so like it's two dominants, right? If GDKP exists, it is the best system there. Now, my issues with it personally, you told me to ignore it all, but my issues and why I don't think it's good for the game is because of that fact. If left alone and left in a world where gold is truly farmed and people earned their gold, it would be amazing and I'm all for it. But we live in a world where we have rampant RMT, we have rampant botting, and we have rampant problems that make it sort of pay to win feeling. So like you just go buy a ton of gold, go to a GDKP, get full bis, and that is where I know you said not to mention it, but that is where I am on the no side and kind of agree with the devs leaving it banned because we see too much RMT. Every GDKP organization I've been a part of, like I did GDKP is from Nax 2019 all the way until ICC at the end of Wrath of the Lich King. I didn't play Kata, but I did a GDKP the entire time throughout multiple GDKP organizations, and every single leadership person did that, sold the gold, and like I know people that I could get on here and talk about it if they wanted to, that would say that they literally it was their full-time job doing 10 GDKPs a week, selling the gold and surviving off it like it was their full-time job. And that alone is what ruins it for being a legitimately good system for raiding in World of Warcraft.
And see that's exactly where I'm at, in the sense that I think as a fundamental system, GDKP is the best raid system. Hands down, no context. I mean, personal loot might be just there, but like as a close second, right? Because it removes all hands of the pie. You either get loot that's for you or you don't get loot. There's no rolling or this or that. So I think personal loot is the most no drama system, period. But in regards to GDKP, I think in a perfect world where there was GMs, no botting, no RMT. I think GDKP is so phenomenally good that it is the single best system. But like I told you to ignore at the beginning, you can't really ignore the underlying causes of the issue. So before we dive into RMT and the botting and the gold selling, I have a final question. Assume Blizzard gives, like Microsoft gives the classic dev team a shit ton of budget. We have like 100 GMs, people that buy or sell gold that are actually getting banned. Would you want GDKPs in game?
Yeah, I mean, if we're permabanning gold buyers, sure. Like I said at the beginning of that, I think it is the best system that has ever been created. It incentivizes players to play the game and get rewarded. It incentivizes good play. You're putting your money where your mouth is. Obviously, it's virtual gold money, but you're essentially rewarded significantly with both gear and gold. It encourages you to keep playing after you have full BIS. It has a lot of pros, but I just unfortunately think the cons with RMT and botting and everything that this is the player ecosystem of it has destroyed it personally. So yeah, if we are permabanning gold buyers, we nuke all the bots, I would love it to be in the game. But we need to solve those two problems before we do that. Or I mean, honestly, if you just permaban gold buyers, literally give people one strike and say your next time you're permabanned, and with the one strike you take away their gold, you put the fear god in them, and the bots problem solves itself. If no one's buying the gold, then the bots go away. We need much harsher stances on it to solve that problem. And the question is in solving that problem, do we kill the player base? Do people just simply quit?
Yeah, I mean, I have a whole segment on RMT and like what happens there. And GDKP ties directly from GDKP. And the issue with the RMT thing is, I don't think it's in Blizzard's best financial incentive to actually ban people. Because I think, and this is something I was going to come up to in a second about the WoW token monetization, is that I think a lot of the player base actually wants to spend gold. But before we touch on that, I did want to go back to the GDKPs and ask one thing. This is what the devs said when they banned GDKPs and SOD an anniversary. It impacts communities. It impacts guilds, other guild systems and loot systems. Do you think it's true that it's the GDKPs make it so people are less likely to join a guild, less likely to join a like long-standing community? Do you think there's any validity and truth in that? Despite it being the best system, there's a lot of people don't farm the gold or buy the gold. So for those people, I know it takes the best players, but do you think it truly has a genuine negative impact on every other guild in the server or the gameplay loop if GDKs are
Absolutely.
allowed?
Why would you raid in a guild where you get nothing when you can get paid to raid, essentially? Why would you do it for free when you can get paid to raid? And that mindset obliterates it. As someone who's recruited, I have recruited in SOD from phase one all the way to MoP right now. MoP has GDKP, SOD phase one and two had GDKP, and it was really hard to find people that I needed for my guilds. And on MoP, I'm fighting a non-stop roster boss. The people I get are, low eye level, lower than, I mean, like they're not low, but like
Mm-hmm.
490 to 500 when most of my guild is 510 by now. And so like I have to find someone who's willing to commit and invest in our community and what we're building, opposed to getting to paid to raid. So I absolutely 100% agree with that. I directly see it impacted in my playing of WoW.
Fair enough, which means I guess because you see it in my comment section, my community. I'm sure you see it in yours, Hammer Dance, all the other classic creators. They all want GDKP back.
I
Whether
don't.
we want it or not is irrelevant because a lot of the players do. Now that could just be the vocal minority, and
I,
the loud majority just is completely quiet. That's
yeah,
wrong. The quiet
I
majority is quiet.
as I've seen this argument be brought up as a counterpoint to it. A lot of people are saying, "Oh, it's banned an anniversary, and it has never been. There's never been more rampant RMT." And then if you go and look at gold prices, it's like $10 for 1,000. And whereas I know that it was like 40 or 50 for 1,000 back in like 2019,
When
2020,
it was much bigger as a
from
game
when
too.
we had GDKP and we had people doing that. So the price and money there, it just doesn't correlate to me. It's saying we have tons of RMT happening, and gold prices are really low. When more people, it's basic supply and demand, all right? When gold prices are higher, it means not as many people are buying it. When gold prices are lower, it means more people are buying it. There's more bots, more farming, more RMT happening than ever before, and I don't think it has anything to do with GDKP. I think GDKP even amplifies it because it allows the people, the illicit actors, to go and essentially launder that money throughout by spreading it throughout the raid.
That's honestly fair, which does actually take us into the direct next topic. RMT monetization and the player base's willingness to buy, sell gold, and the WoW token. And this comes from the facet of, if you look at the community as a whole, like you just said with Anniversary, it has the worst economy than ever before. It's legitimately, as far as economies go, we're looking at goddamn El Salvador, we're looking at Cuba, we're looking at like communist society levels of money means fucking nothing. Um, and why do you think Anniversary, considering there's no GDKP, there's nothing there to really spend your money on, aside from
Yeah.
consumables, why is it so much more expensive there, despite the player base being 1/5 of the size? Do you
Then
think it's
what?
because of one mega server? Do you think that's the major reason why the economy is so fucked?
Um, I mean, I don't like. I don't play it enough to give you exact direct examples. Usually, I like to speak from experience and knowing
Mm-hmm.
that. I went over there and logged in, and it was like 1,000. I just looked at consume prices, and it was like 1,000 gold for a full thing of consumes. But that's with the flash change, right? You can get Black Lotus from herbs there, which is awesome. But like I remember Flash being like 100 to 300 gold throughout Classic 2019.
Mm-hmm.
So like it wasn't that crazy. The biggest thing I see, as I mentioned, is the difference in gold pricing. I like I said, I knew it was about 40 to 50, and I personally don't buy gold. Obviously, I play way too much to ever justify doing that. I just know these prices from looking into these subjects, where videos talking about them, stuff like that, and just seeing it. And when, like I said moments ago, when the prices are really low, that means tons of people are buying. It's just basic economics. It's supply and demand. And so seeing that is kind of crazy to me.
So on that topic, I like you said back in 2019, 2020, 2021, I remember being able to get a full set of consumes, mongoose, fire, water, everything, and a flask, probably probably 250, 300 gold, and I was a tank at the time. Some weeks maybe 400, like if you didn't log in, like because I would raid on Tuesdays, and if I logged in on Tuesday and bought my consumes, I was paying a premium. Where if I bought it on Friday, it was like 20% cheaper. Um, Whereas, like you said, an anniversary, it's almost triple, quadruple that straight price to raid. And I do think that the issue here is that we had multiple servers, different economies, different systems. AI has gotten better since then. The pandemic was a thing happening back then, so everyone was home and grinding. Most people in my guild were playing 8 hours a day, and we weren't even a super sweaty guild. People just had time. They were either unemployed on whatever, or they were working from home. So people had so much time to actually game back in 2020.
Also a big thing is just general game knowledge, right? Back when 2019 Classic released, people hadn't played it at any official capacity for almost 15 years. Now, fast forward to today, we have had a fresh launch version of Classic World of Warcraft every year for this past 6 years. Some were community with hardcore, but like we have gotten a new version of Classic once a year with all of the same farming spots, all of the same mobs, all of the same things. So people know so much more. Like they know from the get-go, oh, this character is going to be my miner, this character is going to be my herber, this character is going to be exactly what I need to supply myself with these goods. I know that if I'm at level 30 and I want to grind mobs, I can go kill these bog people, bog elementals, and farm some Heart of Natures to make Dreamweave. Like people actually factor in how can I make gold and level at the same time nowadays, opposed to everyone was just kind of experiencing Classic WoW for the first time in 15 years. So it's gotten a lot sweatier and people know so much more.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Which thanks on to the next topic. we know that things are way more expensive, whatever now. Why do you think the player base is more okay with buying gold? Why do you think it's become so much more accepted? Because I know people are all gonna say, I don't buy gold, not me. But the amount of times you look at somebody's guild Discord and like 7 people are taking a 2 week vacation for some reason. Or just randomly like, I can't come through for the next 2 weeks. I gotta take a break. Or, and just people that literally don't even log on aside from raid having thousands of gold and able to afford the consumables. Is everybody an auction house master and a goat at manipulating the economy? I feel like so many people are buying gold and it's become so much more accepted. And then they hate the WoW token. Whereas the WoW token would incentivize them and let them play the way they want to, but in this context, they don't want to give Blizzard money. And I'm not saying WoW token is a good thing. I do think all botters and gold buyers and sellers should be banned. But what
That was
happened to
gonna
that
be
shift?
my answer.
What happened to that
WoW
mental
token.
shift? Why do you think the community had such a mental shift between 2019 to 2025, where back then I knew gold buyers, but it was much more minute. If you versus now, clearly a lot of people are buying gold, otherwise gold prices would not be so high. Supply and demand, basic supply and demand says that so many people are buying gold, it's that high.
So, honestly, the WoW token is my answer. We saw it originally in WoD for retail about 10 years ago, I think is when WoD came out. Yeah, roughly 10 years ago is when it got introduced. It's been there ever since. We got it in Wrath Classic in 2023. Um, and it's just Blizzard. Whether people want to agree or not with this statement, it is Blizzard's solution to RMTing. When we buy so much gold, when they're issuing so many bans, they will put the WoW token in there. Like that is what you get. My solution to all of it is if we allow GDKP, put the WoW token in from the beginning. Put time together and see what people truly want. Because they go hand in hand. RMT is directly correlated to GDKPs, whether you disagree or not. I don't really care. You can literally look at that stuff straight up. You can see it. Blizzard wants their profit. Blizzard is a corporation. They are there for money. They are looking at it for one thing and one thing only. Every time you guys are swiping and buying from a third party, you are taking gold away from them. So that is their answer. That is why they put it in. And like they will do it every time. What I honestly want is to put a tracker up there, like literally front screen, login screen, 100,000 instances of gold buying has been detected, and it goes up every time they ban someone for it. Bam, you get your WoW token and you get GDKP unlocked. Making an achievement
If
for
they
bad
made it so
behavior.
you get GDKPs with gold buying, I know for a fact, like even my boy Hammer would make 10 fake accounts just to get
Oh,
them banned. And I'm
yeah,
not
I
saying
know.
Hammer would. I'm saying like I know a lot of people would see
And
that counter, 100K counter, and help get that shit to 100K to get the GDKPs out of the game.
Yup.
But it does kind of
I'm well
suck.
aware. That's why I'm saying they're tied together. And what blows my mind is the people that are against one either way. Like, I think you should either be for WoW token, be for GDKP, or against both of them. Like, I don't get the people who are for one but against the other. They literally make zero sense to me. I don't understand that logic.
Fair enough. And so, like for me, I think at this point in time, the community, I don't want it. I think the best solution is to just straight up ban everybody for buying gold. But I
I
feel
would
like
prefer that too. I want to be very clear. My favorite is no RMT bots gone. That would be my preferred way to play WoW as well.
But I do feel like Blizzard is either A, giving up, B, is never going to get the funding to hire GMs, or C, they're just going to wait till it affects their bottom line. For example, League of Legends had a very severe people buying like accounts. People were buying a shit ton of accounts on the regular. They get buy a level 30 account, rank up, grief, run it down, quit, move on to the next account because accounts were $2 or $3. And they now it only once League started declining. For 10 years, League kept climbing, more and more players, more and more players, and they didn't do shit to address it. I mean, they would do like occasional, like how Blizzard does occasional like ban waves or whatever. Riot would do that. And then once League started declining and losing players, they actually started to severely like go after all these botting issues and situations at hand. Like hard attacking, destroying and dismantling it. If they detect that you're on a 30, like on a board account, they'll ban that account and your main. Like in Korea, when the new like when Worlds is about to begin, a lot of big league streamers will travel to Korea, for example, and they'll do like a Korean stream, etc.
Yeah,
Several
Korean
big,
boot camp.
yep, Korean bootcamp. Several big league streamers had their challenger accounts demoted to bronze, not banned,
That's
demoted to
crazy.
bronze, and they had their main account in NA banned, and said don't buy a board account.
Damn. Yeah, that's wild.
So you have issues with like they're only addressing the attacks the bottom line, and I think the WoW token is literally Blizzard's attempt at literally just it's affecting the bottom line. They want their slice of the pie. I don't think they truly care at this point. I think they just want their portion of the money. Because I
Yeah,
feel
of
like if they
course. And
cared, retail
that's
wouldn't be full of so
why
many bots.
that's why the WoW token gets implemented, because they want their, like, that is their solution. Like I said, whether you want to accept that answer or not, they do it every time, and we literally see it done. We have two examples now, but I'm sure we're getting the third very, very, very soon with the anniversary. So we'll see. Time will tell. But
Absolutely.
it might not be a good solution, but it is what Blizzard does. I don't agree with it. Like I said, my perfect world is no RMT, no bots. I would love that. WoW, but that
It,
I live in reality, so that's what it is.
and reality definitely does not have that shit. I can tell you right fucking now. But which does take us on to finally the next topic, and this one's a spicy one, but the in-game store. Transmog items for like a Hearthstone or level boosts. Now we did just discuss the WoW token, but a lot of people are against all that stuff, right? They're completely against all of it. What are your thoughts on the level boost? And I want to open this up with saying, in a few of my videos, I've been against it, right? Like against WoW token, against the level boost, against this stuff. And I've had a whole bunch of grown men, 30, 40, 50-year-old guys saying, who are you to tell me how to play the game? It's been out for 20 years. Who gives a shit? I just want to raid. I just want to do this. I just want to play like this. Who are you to gatekeep how I play the game? Who are you to tell me how to play the game? We're not all streamers. We don't get to all sit there and grind 8 hours a day or 6 hours or 4 hours or even 2 hours a day. Some of us have lives and we just want to log on, buy our gold, level boost, and play the game. What are your thoughts on that portion of the player base, which I honestly think is a majority of the player base? I don't think it's the minority. I think the minority is the loud, like the loud minority of the people complaining against the level boost and the WoW token, whereas I think the majority actually want that. And what's your take on that?
So like the problem with the boost is, once again, is, well, yeah, I am empathetic towards those dads, those gamers, those people who actually have lives other than World of Warcraft. Those
Mm-hmm.
those are the cases I actually empathize with and understand, and I'm like, that's fine, do whatever you have to do. Um, but the problem is we have too many bad actors. If the boost is there, a bot will. It's literally profitable for a bot to buy the boost and then just send the bot. So I would maybe like what they did with the Dark Portal Pass. You get one per account. You get something like that, where it's limited, but it also helps those people to get that and keep playing and go. I wouldn't want it at the beginning though. Like, I think AQ is my favorite, like, halfway point for classic, because that's when the game truly gets like so many new things, so many different things added, so many catch ups are there by AQ. So like I would be fine if, like, if for anniversary, if they put the boost in by AQ, that'd be cool. Like, I'd be okay with that because it's already progressed. So people are, that's when the game starts to fall off. That's where you see that steep decline. That's a good point to reinvigorate the game for people like that. Now, I don't know how many people are like that, right? This is a very, I'd almost argue, niche case. But that's sort of my thoughts on the boost. I don't really care. I have enough time to boost or play every character I want. Most people at the end of the day will, if they don't do it that way, they'll literally just buy golds. They'll literally just buy gold, and then they will just get mage boosted anyway, which is like, oh, they just log in, work from home while their character gets boosted to 60 anyway. So it doesn't really change much in that end. I'd honestly like to see boost, like, mage boosting warlock summons, all those services be gone as well. I know it might be controversial, but I like the game in its pure sense. I like it means more when you have to travel 10, 15 minutes across the world to get somewhere to do something. I know it's a little dated, and maybe because I have enough time to play as much as I want, I'm okay with that. But I think it makes your actions mean more when you're doing that, when you're traveling across the world to do stuff. And this is more in the sense of a Classic Plus where it's new and exciting and you can go there. But I think we've just sort of optimized the fun out of the game. And it sucks to say that, but like people are willing to just pay gold for literally everything in the game so they don't have to do anything. And to me, it's like, why do you even play the game if that's what like do you only enjoy raiding? Is that what you live for? Because the raids aren't hard, right? It's just 40 people dodging one mechanic and it's 20 years old, so people know all that stuff. So just a little, I got a little off topic there with that, but I think it all ties in together. As far as cosmetics go, full on let people have all the cosmetics in the world they want. Throw in transmog, shit. Even make your housing buy on account. You can earn housing things from that. I'm for it all because Blizzard's a corporation at the end of the day. If I have to get something monetized, I'd rather have cosmetics monetized so we can buy that and look cool and whatever, opposed to having power be bought with WoW token or a level boost. I would much rather take the cosmetic side of the aisle opposed to the real world, like player power, player convenience added into it.
No, that's fair. Um, I so it's hypocritical of me to say this. Like, I'm buying a level boost with TBC because I just didn't play Anniversary. I just wasn't interested in this time around, right? I have nothing against Anniversary. I think the people are enjoying it. I wish nothing but the best for them. I hope they keep having fun. I hope they enjoy Nax till the very end, and then I hope they enjoy Era. But I couldn't bring myself to do it, so I didn't level at all. I have a level 27 warrior sitting in Stone Talon for like 6 months. Um, I got like a level 8 shaman. I just, after leveling so many times, and in a game version, I wasn't planning on raiding. I didn't see like the benefit in just leveling, so I was gonna buy level boost. And I feel like that's very hypocritical because I feel like a lot of people view it in the context that I'm doing it, where they make a single use case to justify their behavior or justify their action. Well, it's just a level boost. It's just one level boost, or it's just I'm just buying a transmog effect, or I'm just buying a shiny WoW mount, or I'm just doing this. And I think that truly corrodes and degrades the entire experience to the T. I think every time we give Blizzard a pass, or another corporation a minor pass, like think about this, all this fucking started with horse armor back in Oblivion, where they made a shit ton of fucking money selling the stupidest fucking horse armor for 250.
Yeah.
And it's, I'm not saying like let them not do it at this point, right? It's just simply what it is. They're going to do it regardless. Like, we're not stopping Blizzard. Not my 10k subs, not your 20k subs, not the 200 people watching. There's not enough of an audience here that gives a fuck. Not even Asmon of 50,000 people could stop it.
Yeah,
And
Asmon did it back in whenever they added the Heart of the Aspects back in
Mhm.
Cataclysm. He went on full warpath against it, and he was the biggest WoW creator then. Biggest, I mean, shit, he probably still is the biggest. Wow, him or Soda would be one or two, and they both were against that shit, and they still did it anyway. So
Yep.
like, they're going to do it because they're a corporation and they care about making money. At the end of the day, they are for profit. So that is where they are at. So we're getting it one way or the other, and I just hope they go the cosmetic route instead of WoW token and buying stuff.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. I think we at this point where I think it's just simply what it is. I think it's just it's over. I think there is no universe in which it really matters. I mean, it doesn't matter, but I don't think anything we're gonna do is going to matter. I think we're getting the WoW token. I think we're getting the level boost. I think we're getting like a Dark Portal
And
bundle,
you think
and
we're
then a
getting that?
Legion bundle, a
Are you talking about
Warpath bundle.
anniversary? Are we talking about anniversary? Or are you talking about
TBC, TBC. I think Era's getting
oh,
a WoW token as well at this point. I do think they're gonna try to get their slice of the Era
token and
pie.
all? Yeah.
Um,
You know what's some shit is only the retail token can be redeemed for BattleNet balance. You can't use
yep.
it for classic. That's some shit. Why can't we? Let me
Because
buy midnight with my
classic,
mob
yeah,
gold.
classic has so much RMT. They're definitely like going to, like they'd be like, for example, Medina made 40 tokens in what,
Oh, I
two
know.
months of playing
I know
GDKPs in
why.
MoP. Like, it's so much easier to get gold in MoP and Classic than it is to get gold in retail. So they'll never add it to they'll never add it to make it battle.net balance bound, and they'll make it so you can sell. Like right now, I don't know if you knew this, but like they at a certain point, the WoW token was tied to back in WoW the
Yeah.
actual other players. I think right now, when you sell or buy, you're selling directly to Blizzard, not other players. I don't think
Yeah,
they're
Blizzard
actually.
covers it till someone buys it. Yeah.
I think it's money that goes directly from Blizzard directly to you. So I do think like at a certain point, we're looking at a situation where when they add the WoW token to TBC, they're not gonna let it be battle night balance because of how much gold is sitting in Anniversary right now. I think Anniversary is going to be fucking disgusting in regards to the WoW token.
Hey, maybe. Hey, honestly, they could just make it as yeah. I guess if they made it as cheap as gold, it wouldn't really be good for them at all.
So we can now move on to the next topic, TBC Anniversary. This is the second time we're going to TBC, and my question to you is this: how well do you think it's going to do considering the population numbers of MoP, the population numbers of Anniversary, the population numbers of SOD, Era, and every other version so far? Do you think the TBC waiting room is actually double or triple the current rating player base of Anniversary? Do you think if they announce, let's say, like I know November pre-patch is incredibly unlikely, but let's just say a late December, January pre-patch, right? Let's just say December 28th or January 2nd or 3rd, like whatever the Tuesday or Thursday of that week is. They drop a pre-patch 2 or 3 weeks into TBC. Do you think the player base is actually going to double or triple?
I think it'd probably come out around January 6th. That's the next Tuesday after New
Mm-hmm.
Year's and everything. So I think that's the most likely date for it right now.
Mm-hmm.
I hope they give us a month. I honestly hope they give us fresh servers. I know a lot of people think I'm crazy for thinking that, but I think there are a ton of people out there who didn't play Anniversary that would go and play on TBC fresh servers. So it just attracts more people. And I don't think anyone on Night Slayer or on Anniversary playing is gonna quit the game over that fact at all. And I think it's the first time ever that we've seen new servers where Blood Elves and Draenei would be unlocked, or Shamans and Paladins would be unlocked for both factions. So I just personally think it'd be a really awesome experiment. So I truly hope we get those. Just make a PvP, make a PvE server. Say there if these servers fail, you will get a transfer to Night Slayer, you'll get a transfer to Dream Scythe, and it can be a fun little experiment to test out. But I think that would attract the most players and have people play it personally. I will honestly, every time I've thought, oh, this new thing's gonna save the game, it's gonna go crazy, it's gonna spike up, it's gonna be awesome. I have been sorely wrong with this. I've just been way too hopeful. So I'm gonna say I will be surprised if TBC rating breaks over 150k players. I'll give it 2x. I will be legitimately surprised because Anniversary's been around. I think it peaked at 90k, but in BWL, and then it's gone down to about 75k ever since, and it's holding steady at around 75k. So I'll be surprised if it goes over 150k.
You don't think even with Karazhan, Mag, and Gruul's Lair being relatively easy? Because back when I was playing in 2021, back when that came out, I was doing 2 raids a week on 2 different characters, and it was rather easy to fill a pug.
Back
Karazhan was a
then,
piss easy to raid to do, Mag and Gruul, and the player base I feel like has gotten better, not worse since then. Actually, no, I've
I'll
seen
give
so
you the
many
one
people
reason.
collapsing in Nax, and Nax was piss fucking easy, so I don't know about that.
We have one version of the game back then, and it was just that. Here we have all four constantly going. So I I really don't think that most people don't have the time to play two versions of the game, right? MoP is 2x, 3 2 somewhere between 2 to 3x more popular than Anniversary. Obviously, MoP's kind of plummeting right now. So you can't really just say that directly, but it's somewhere in between 2 and 3 times more. And so I don't think all those people are going to go there. When they gave us the boost at the end of SOD, I said jokingly they'll give us our TBC boost if we kill the first boss in Throne of Thunder to try to send us over there. I said that as a joke, but honestly, it's kind of lining up for that might actually be something they consider since it worked pretty well with SOD. Like literally, you take sods in raid population, you add it to Kata, and it's pretty much where MoP is. So it looks like a success to me, at least, and I'm definitely one of those people who did that.
So,
Um,
so based off that, you're just saying outright that TBC, while popular, while more popular than Anniversary, even a 2x increase would be a surprise to you.
Yeah, I will be legitimately surprised if it breaks 150,000 players. Like it might break it for a week. Like I mean maintaining. Like I want to see it maintain that to have like anything. Yes, obviously the first like 3 weeks are hype. Every expansion has shown us that the first 3 weeks are rating. But how many people will stay committed? And honestly, Gruul, Mag, Kara, that one's such a blunder because Kara's a 10 man, so you just have to do your 25-man raids and you split it. So phase one of TVC is a lot more world grinding, right? You're getting exalted with Thralmar, you're getting exalted with whatever you need to get your weapons, your epics, your shinies. You're doing heroic
Mm.
dungeons. You know, it's a lot more world content and rep grinds and things like that. But yeah, TBC actually has had like some of the best consistent rating because I love TBC rating too. It's my favorite of the original trilogy as well. And so like it held at like 300 to like 350K the entire time. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But yeah, I've I've given it the optimistic guess every time, and I've been so wrong with from towards the end of Sod to MoP to this. So I honestly don't even know anymore. I thought I had a good vibe on the heartbeat of the community, but I've been pretty wrong with what people are playing, and us being at a historic low right now of 100 or 231,000. I just talked about it in today's video, but it's we're just not looking good, man. And I don't think TPC again is enough to capture that audience again. Especially when MoP going into Throne of Thunder, which is regarded as one of the best raids of all time by some people, is coming out as well.
Okay, so I hear your lack of optimism here. And while we know, Classic Plus, although the new season or whatever is coming out sometime around, BlizzCon next year, my next question is actually kind of a funny one. Wrath Anniversary. How do you think that's going to go?
That is the only question I can't answer. Like, I legitimately don't know if they're going to do it. It depends on what's next. If what's next is full on Classic Plus and not a season, then I don't think we see Wrath Anniversary. I think they stop it at TBC. I think if we get Classic Plus, they are going to let every version come to its natural end. They won't shut them off, but you'll stay at Siege of Orgrimmar, you will stay at Sunwell, you will stay at Naxxramas with Era and Sod, and they will full send Classic Plus because if they're taking up like they only get one shot at this. If they call it Classic Plus and full send it, it has to be amazing, it has to be perfect, and it has to bring as many people as it possibly can. So if they go to Classic Plus, I think they let them all just get aerified, if you will, and be at that final patch. Now, if it is just another season that is SOD-esque and has a lot more people playing the game, then I think they would send Wrath Anniversary. I don't think we're getting WoD. I honestly think Legion is more likely than WoD because we have had zero communication hints, anything dropping or angling towards WoD. And by this time in Kata, we pretty much all but knew MoP was coming out, as well as Remix. We got MoP Remix from retail, and now we're getting Legion Remix from retail. So we might just skip WoD and go straight to Legion, which is a whole nother can of worms because Legion is essentially retail full on at that point, and it is a very beloved expansion. It is one of my most beloved. It was the last one I played in full, and it's why I'm on Legion Remix right now playing. So.
Which, okay. So then the next question is honestly an interesting one because it comes down to what happens at the end of MoP. We saw something called the Warpath and the Legion bundle in the code files, right? And we know they've been doing a whole bunch of testing, and we'll cover that 1.6 thing in the Xaryu poll soon as well. But we saw that stuff. So my question to you is, let's assume the Warpath bundle is MoP to midnight. It's a merger to midnight. They're sending all the Mr. Pandaria players over there. or like it's a skipped. Cause I'm not sure what else the Warpath bundle could be. Maybe it's a second TBC bundle, or the Legion bundle is effectively saying, if there's no Legion, you're going to retail. Have fun, peace. What do you think the MoP player base actually wants? Do you think they want what? Do you think they want to get merged into retail? Do you think they just want MoP era? What? Where do you think they actually want to go? You're a MoP player here. You actually play MoP.
I'm a tourist, man. I'm only here because they gave me it at the end of SOD. Don't call
But the people
I
the people that play MoP, and you've made videos for them, so you hear the community and the audience that plays MoP. What do you think they actually want?
So I made 2 videos that did really, really well, and it was we're 1,000,000% getting Classic Plus, and we're a million and MoP is 1,000,000% ending. The 1,000,000% ending of MoP one, I got a lot of people that said they just wanted to keep going. They didn't get to do WoD originally, they didn't get to do Legion originally. Like they're newer age WoW players who are just there to sort of experience it and capture that they might have missed. And that was really I was like, you know what? I never really thought of that because like someone like me, someone like you, we played all these at some point, you know, whether we were TBC, Wrath babies, whatever. You know, the only ones I missed were Classic and TBC personally. I played all of them. I played the End of Wrath. So like I've come full circle. I can say I played every expansion to some degree, you know, whether it was for a month or two or played it all the way through. I've played nearly every expansion now because of the classic project.
Mm-hmm.
And so those people saying that in that video, like I think it got like 7, 8, 10K views. So pretty good video, especially for a daily creator like me. So like it got a lot of good feedback, and those people really wanted to see they really want to see what's next and keep going. What I think is best is MoP ends and you merge with retail, and at that point we make the collection log bind on account. That way, no matter what version of the game you're playing, you're earning things for your collection log. I really like that idea. Even if you have to put a classic asterisk next to all the pieces from classic to make the retail players happy, I think having the crossplay identity, I think, is really, really important. Let people play any version of WoW. Let people collect anything for any version of the game, because there are a ton of casuals that just use this like it's fashion. Like they literally just make their characters look awesome, look cool. Like people will log in after work and they'll just go farm transmogs, and we never really hear those players. They're kind of solo playing the game, but it is a shocking amount of casual players. And, you know, getting more people, I think WoW is at its best when the most people are playing it. So people going along those lines of that, I think would be really good with a bind on account, everything. But we'll see
Okay.
where they go.
All right. So tying back onto that, what do you want to happen to MoP?
Like I said, I think going to retail would be MoP's best solution. I want it to die because I want us to get Classic Plus.
Mm-hmm.
So I want all of them to stop so we get a full launch Classic Plus by November 2026. They ended SOD. They killed SOD. SOD was our alpha, beta, whatever test you want to call it. They have been working hard since then. They does like MoP's done, TBC's done. They just got to re-release it and re-release the patches, maybe fix a few bugs here and there, but it's not that much work to do that. They full taking on another expansion would be a lot of work. So the fact we haven't heard anything about any of those happening makes me think they are full sending, cooking whatever's next. And I don't know if you want to call it hopium, whatever you want to call it. I really believe in my heart of hearts that we're getting Classic Plus, and hopefully it's announced at BlizzCon and we are sending it by November, December next year.
Actually, I do believe, and that was the next topic point, which was quite literally Classic Plus. It's coming. Whip de doo. There's a community burnout around Classic Plus because they feel so let down by the end of SOD and all this stuff. But the recent 1.60 client, the alpha client, and now I don't want to sit here and like lie to everybody and go Classic Plus confirmed, it's coming, be hyped and ready. But they went
who would ever make that
they
video
went
or
from
thumbnail?
1.15.8 to 1.15.8 point whatever numbers. That's the anniversary client. That's right there at 1.15. SOD's on that, errors on that, anniversaries on that. That's gonna go to TBC, or they're gonna split TBC off from that. But we got a brand new client recently, an alpha internal server, dev only alpha server, and it's called Classic Alpha. And that client isn't 1.16. It's not 1.17 or 1.18, because keep in mind, 1.13 was Classic 2019, 1.14 was SOM, 1.15 was SOD, and Era and Anniversary. Well, Era was 1.13.
Era just gets updated along with it.
So instead of going 1.15 or 1.16 or 17, they went 1.6 as a straight 0.60 jump. And that's a huge jump. And the client was built backwards from Mr. Pandaria. So every asset from vanilla through MoP was in the 5.50, backtracked down to a 1.6 as a WoW Classic Alpha dev build. And that to me screams Classic Plus. That to me screams Alpha Classic Plus. Because you can't data mine that. That's only even accessible because it's on the internal dev servers, which means this was being worked on before it even got uploaded there, which means the offline version is now online. So they can test some server capabilities on the back end of things. So based on 1.6, I do think we're getting a November 2026 release for Classic Plus, or November 2027, I mean not November, or a March 2027 release for Classic Plus. But you see that, I see that. So my question to you here is, what do you think the 1.60 is? Remove Hopium and Copium. Assume it's not Classic Plus. What else could it be?
If it's not Classic Plus or what's next, I think it's them just taking assets from MoP to add into Classic Plus. They just need to get, like, maybe they're copying Monk class, DK class, maybe they're copying talents, abilities, stuff like that. Because, like, as we saw with SOD, we had a ton of runes, ton of class changes, ton of identities being added. I think it could just be them taking a lot of things that maybe they want to experiment, maybe they want to test, maybe they want to add zones from Cataclysm there, like Hyjal, a fully, like the Hyjal and Kata and the Hyjal from Classic are this same layout. If you didn't know, I ran through them, but like that zone's the same. They just changed, like they blew up craters, added the Firelands, but like the road and the areas there are there. Like the road is the exact same through Hyjal, so they've added a lot of stuff to that. So they could be taking assets, buildings, just stuff that they want to maybe test out, decide to put in, decide not to, into Classic Plus, because I hope we do get some class changes. I would love to see, not as far as SOD. I think SOD went way, way, way too far with a lot of them. Our numbers were way too big. But like something like Ret Paladin being viable, having Crusader Strike. I want to see the hybrids be viable, like Druid, Paladin. I want to see those DPS classes be balanced and do damage. And I think that would be a very healthy version of the game, opposed to taking 30 warriors and 5 shaman as your raid comp.
Hi, sweetheart. No. This is a podcast. You can't come up here.
What's the dog? Ask your doggo's opinion.
What's your opinion on Classic Plus?
Oh, kiss Evan. Yes, that's a good one.
Kiss me. Okay, baby. Off you go.
No, that's a good opinion. Good opinion. Base dog.
Good opinion. But no, I do kind of agree with you, because there's only two options. It can't be, I know people are saying it's the Titan Reforged server, but there's already a 3.8 client. That's a separate 3.8 client that's already on the data. It's not even the Titan Reforged, because that's a separate client that's already there.
I think the Chinese one is completely separate from us as well. It's all out there too.
You can access it as well. So the 3.8 client, we data mined that before when we first got hyped, but we got baited like a year ago. And we were like, oh my god, Classic Plus. And it turns out it was just the Chinese reforged all the Wrath assets and TBC stuff all in one. So we know that's there. That's a separate client. We know Anniversary and Era there. We know what the Alpha and PTR servers already are. We see all the other servers. We see MoP. This is a brand new client. The first time they've done a 1.60. So I'm not saying it is Classic Plus. I don't want to sit here and lie to everybody and go 100% chat, we're getting Classic Plus. Everybody get excited, get hyped.
Well, you would never put your video title and make it all caps saying first signs of Classic Plus and with your most hype face ever. Who would do that?
Who would do that indeed? His name probably starts with K and then Ago.
Gaming? No, I wouldn't do that. It would hey, honestly, like obviously I put the disclaimer in there, but like I was so it made me like that was legitimate excitement. There was zero acting there. Like we needed a win, and that felt like a win, even though like it is the smallest straw we're ever grasping at. Like it literally
Mhm.
could be anything, and we have no idea what it is, but I just want to hope that it's the first signs of Classic Plus and seeing that six there, even though it's 60 instead of 16, it was still a really awesome and it made me so happy. Just to like we got a new version coming because every time that they have gone up, we have seen it be a new version. So just even seeing 1.6 filled me with so much happiness. It felt good to be hype about it again, you know? Because
Mhm.
we're in the dark ages right now, man. So any bit of hope is welcomed with open arms and joy.
Honestly, that's fair. So my puppy really wants love and attention right now. You're ruining the podcast, sweetheart. It's cute, but go. Off you go. That's a good girl.
We can take a quick like 2 minute break so I can pee and get a
All
drink
right,
if you
all right.
want.
Let me just do a timer right here to see when it is. So one. Okay. Break. You're good.
All right, be right back. Gonna
Be
pee
right
and
back,
get a Dr.
everybody.
Pepper.
Need Hassan shot collar. Okay, chat. Jesus Christ. Remember the last thing we were talking about?
Yeah, patch 1.6 and pure classic plus
The
hopium.
hopium. That's right. That's right. Okay.
I just took the biggest hit of hopium while I was getting Dr. Pepper and peeing.
Alrighty. So, talking about the topic of hope, the community, and how the community is and where the community's at. Like, taking yourself as a content creator out of it. There's been a lot of negativity online. Blizzard needs to do this, they need to add this, Classic Plus needs this. Why are we at this game mode? Why are they doing this? Why are they focusing on this? Do they hate us? Why is China getting this? Why aren't we getting... You've heard all the different things that the player base has been saying, they've been talking about, they've been discussing or deep diving. So my question to you is, hype and hopium, and if they were to, let's say, not say anything for a whole year until next BlizzCon, do you still think the community is going to give a shit about Classic Plus?
Like if they say absolutely nothing,
Mm-hmm.
hmm. I wanna, yeah. I mean, Classic Plus has been a dream since we went to TBC, you know?
Mm-hmm. So you do think that the community is absolutely going to like be excited, be interested, want to care, want to dive into things, and
Yeah.
still come back and be hyped the whole same.
Absolutely. People are going to be so excited for Classic Plus no matter when it comes, what it comes, as long as they send it. Like I said, they get one shot at it. It better be fucking good and I hope it is fucking good. But I think people will legitimately be excited for it. Absolutely. People have wanted it for so long, man. Like
I mean, I get where you're coming from, but I feel like at a certain point with no information and a stealth drop, assuming, well, not a stealth announcement, we know BlizzCon is a big event, but I think a 2026 first official reveal is so late that there won't be excitement left. Because you keep in mind, if they announce it in 2026, and that's assuming we're lucky enough for it to drop in 2026, whatever drops in 2027, whatever drops later, look, how
I
long will
mean,
the community stay hyped? How long will the community stay excited and interested?
I think everyone who has ever played Classic WoW ever would go and play Classic Plus. Like
Regardless of the
that's
release date.
yes. Like to be fair, they have never said it. We have never like this is just what people want, right? They have never ever said they're working on it, nor that it is an idea of theirs, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
thus far, like we had this discussion back in 2020 when back in 2020 when they went to TBC. Like that was a big debate. A lot of people were like, "Are we going to new things or are we going to TBC?" And a lot of people were very questionable of that, wondering what was happening, and everyone still just went to TBC and had fun, you know? They gave us the era character clone thing.
Yeah, valid point, I guess. Maybe the community negativity online is again the vocal minority, very angry and upset, wanting
I
something now, now, now. Gimme, gimme, gimme. I want to play. I want to consume. I want to enjoy. Whereas everyone else just doesn't give a shit.
Classic as itself. I hate to use this analogy, but like retail's the NBA and classic is the WNBA. Like that. That's how small classic is compared to retail. Like it's not even close.
The
And
WNBA.
yeah, I mean, I'm being dead serious. Now, I definitely think we're profitable. So it's not that bad. But like that's where we're at as far as like players, population, what people care about. And like as a classic creator, like
Mm-hmm.
look at all the retail channels. Like those people get like 20, 30K per video, daily video creators, where we're getting like 3 to 5K. There's just no comparison.
No, you're right. It sucks to say, but you're 100% correct. And
So even if like everyone from Classic left and said I'm not trying Classic Plus at all, no way in heck, it would still like I guarantee you all this like a significant amount of retail people would come over here and try it, give it a whirl. Like if they announce Classic Plus, everybody's gonna want to see that because it would be cool to see what happens if we don't go to TBC, we don't go to Wrath of the Lich King, and you can even use those stories too.
you got a point. Like for me, I'm gonna play regardless, right? I'm 100% gonna dive into Classic Plus, play the game, enjoy the game, invest my time and energy in the game, and be hyped and hopium full about the game regardless. I did it about SOD. I didn't start dooming in Phase 3. I took a break though. I didn't start dooming in AQ. I took a break though. But I will say, like, I am genuinely super excited to finally play Classic Plus when it eventually does drop, regardless of how, when, what it'll drop as. But I know it's coming, and I honestly cannot wait to experience that game and experience that content for what it truly is, because
And
I
then
need
a
it.
a a big one is that Canadian Moose said right there is Classic Plus as well too. That is a possible concern that we are just getting another season, and after the last Titan they destroy, like they merge them almost. Like we get a in between of Classic, we get an in between of retail, and it is a fresh launch sending of the new game of WoW 2. That is a possibility as well. Like if they make classic, they don't want to make a classic plus too good, right? Because then it can destroy retail, which obviously right now it's nowhere near that, but it could happen, you know?
I mean, shit. Yeah. I mean, I
WoW's
have
all-time high from what we know is Wrath of the Lich King, so
I do remember
maybe.
them. I do remember the not. It's not remember. I did hear that at the end of the last Titan, they want to effectively soft reboot the game. Not a WoW 2, because they're never going to make people give up their progress or their time or their energy or their 2 decades of collecting and like logs and
Well, yeah,
melts.
just you can bring that forward. Bring all the collection log forward. Just make it like the old world. Final Fantasy, I think, did this really well.
You
Like
mean
they nuked
AR?
their world,
Yeah, but
completely
AR was dead. I
eradicated, but
think
let
there was
you
like
keep
less than
everything.
10,000 players. At that point, it was like it didn't
Yeah,
matter.
but you could still keep everything you
Nope, you took
got from
nothing.
there.
You got
Oh,
a tattoo that said you
oh,
played on the original game. It's the
oh!
rarest item in
I
the
thought,
game.
I thought they got to keep things.
Nope, they didn't. They got a tattoo. Or I think there was like 2 or 3 cosmetics they got for playing.
Yeah,
Otherwise, you
we'll
lost
just
everything.
relaunch it, but let people keep their cool thing, their mounts and cosmetics. That's fine. Give people ample time. Be like, these are going away. You'll never be able to get them again, and good luck.
Do you truly think Blizzard would ever seriously restart WoW? Like make a WoW 2? Like they've literally said before that they've thought about it and they've always said no, because an MMO sequel has never worked. In the history of gaming, no MMO sequel has ever actually worked well.
In the history of gaming, we've never had a game be current, live, and last for 20 years. WoW itself is an anomaly, so fucking full send it. Why not?
That is also true. WoW is also an anomaly, isn't it? Holy shit. Damn.
WoW's the difference, man.
20 years.
I'm
20
not
years
saying
of
delete.
MMO.
I'm just saying delete. like literally Unreal Engine 5, like Azeroth, give it a different like you can keep all the stories, keep everything. Like when the last Titan, right before she dies, she fucking snaps her fingers and sends us back to Durtar, you know?
Oh, well, so she sends us back to before the Third War.
No, 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 not time travel. Like it's just like essentially the world explodes when she awakens, but to preserve us, she just recrafts Azeroth, and since it's there, we start over with a brand new everything, brand new stories. The only thing you keep is your old stuff, and then just let people go to the old Azeroth for 20 years. Like literally, just let them like time runner, time walk, whatever the fuck, go back into the old world. You can keep it all there just for people to collect cosmetics and stuff.
I mean, maybe. It's just I know retail makes a shit ton of money, and I do think at the end of the day, they're never going to want to jeopardize the cash cow baby because of
I would
the sunk cost fallacy. I think if they ever shattered the sunk cost fallacy illusion, a lot of people would actually quit. I think sunk cost fallacy is keeping a lot of people playing
I
World of
am,
Warcraft.
to be very clear, I'm not saying take away everything. I'm just saying nuke the world, make it Unreal Engine 5, make it look fucking amazing, beautiful, and full send it.
Yeah, what Roth and Chat said. What's the difference between that and just the new X pack? You're effectively saying it's just a new X pack. If you get to keep everything, it's not really a reset.
Well, you only keep your cosmetics and stuff.
That's most of what everybody's collected, anyways. It's just cosmetics.
Yeah, I guess people be mad about losing their characters. I don't know. It's just an idea. People are throwing out the WoW 2 idea. I don't know what's happening. I am probably the least qualified to speak on retail, man. I'm playing Remix for the first time, and I played more Remix than I played WoW with War Within, Shadowlands, Battle for Azeroth, all of them.
Look, fair enough, fair enough.
I'm
Which
just going on that WoW 2 theory of the everything dying after the last Titan.
also talking about things randomly dying and the people community like not being happy. Let's finally jump into Xaryu's poll and Xaryu's community and the responses there. And I wanted to get your opinions on that. What did you actually think about the whole survey? What did you actually think about the whole situation with the survey and how his community voted? Now, we're not going to go over every single point step by step, but across the board overall, what were
I
your
really
thoughts?
enjoyed it. I think it is amazing. Xaryu gave me a life-changing experience a few months ago and partnered with, I think, TSM and Jersey Mike's, and they donated $1,500 to the
I
stream,
remember
and
that.
someone gifted 100 subs. Was fucking amazing. One of the most awesome experiences I've had. So huge shout out to him and them. That was fucking amazing. Is the best way to describe that. But I think Zaryu's community he's one of the biggest streamers in WoW and has one of the biggest like if some I wanted someone to do it, it would be him and his community. I think they covered nearly every subject there, like really, really well. The only thing that was missing from it, from when I looked, was GDKPs. I would
Hmm.
have loved to see them debate that and talk about that, but that was really it. Every subject in there, I think, has a some type of argument to be put in a classic plus.
And is there anything you really disagreed with this community? Because I had a lot of people saying retail players, oh, this is all just Zari's opinion. He influences the community, this and that. I don't agree with some of these things. It means that other content creators be like, this is not Classic Plus. This is not it. This is wrong.
I mean, no one's ever going to agree on it 100% in any capacity, right? Like, I mean, everybody, no one, there are very few people that are true and true classic only purists.
Hmm.
And the people that are like that, I don't think they're a majority in any capacity, you know? And we got to go with, I would honestly want some type of OSRS polling system. I think that would be the best idea. And then we put them all there and make it just literally make it a playtime or like, I don't know what to make the restriction for. So you get the people actually playing the game to vote in there, but I think that would be a really good way to get people to vote and have that and require a supermajority of 60. I think OSRS requires
Hmm.
60%, yes, or like 66%, whatever it takes. But for a feature to be added, they need that overwhelming yes support. So I think that would be really, really good to have that in there. 75, 70. Yeah, I think that that is a good system where the majority of people want it in there. And then I would use that as a baseline for anything that you're putting in to the Classic Plus, you know? Let like make listen to the people. There's no harm in listening to the people playing your game, not just creators, right? Creators have opinions. We're not always right at all. Honestly, we're usually wrong most of the time.
Speak for yourself.
Um
I've never been wrong in
okay.
my life.
Okay. Yeah. But everybody has opinions and everybody's voice should be heard. Yeah, I don't know what restrictions need to be had. Yeah, you know what? Put it at the end of Nax Ramus behind KT's thrones.
Oh, the polls are behind. You have to clear Caltazat to vote on the fucking.
Exactly.
That would be
Exactly.
funny. That would piss off a lot of people. Okay, I will say one thing though, in regards to Xaryu's poll, I actually agreed with a lot of it. There were certain things I definitely hard disagreed with, but I would say his community at least was like
Can you send the image?
70%. Yeah, I'll send you the image afterwards, no worries. I would say at least 70% of the overall poll, like what he did, I agreed with. Some of the opinions were like, they voted 70%, and I was like 100, some voted 100%, and I was like, I'm closer to 60 on this. But across the board, it was like, it was a solid baseline. It's not something Blizzard should take and go one for one, this is what we're doing, because that would not be a great game. But they should look at all that information and be like, this is a good extra bit of information to add to our backend info. Because
Absolutely.
I do think like the community is going to be very divided, very, just split apart into a dozen different versions, a dozen different games, a dozen different ideation of what Classic Plus looks like, even something as simple as horizontal versus vertical. And that's not simple at all. From RMT, from raiding, from flex raid, from how you can raid, the new content, the class balancing, everything is going to be a debate through and through.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see what Classic Plus really looks like, because they really have to share some things at a certain point. But I will say the only major issue that I have right now, and this is the final thing, and then the show's over, is communication. We are severely, severely lacking communication, and we definitely need more, because as of right now, the Classic community is starving for any communication.
God, yes, we need so much more, man. Like, we're lost in the numbers. I mean, we only have raid numbers,
Mm-hmm.
but I think that is screaming. We are at 231,000 raiders, the lowest we have been since the end of November 2019, when we had one version of the game and people were still coming into it and still leveling and didn't have all the fun, fast, easy, awesome ways to hit level 60. Like, we were just at the beginning of that. We really desperately need communication, like just any inkling, like tell us when Throne of Thunder, tell us when TBCs, tell us that you're
Exactly.
working on, tell us what you're working on, just say we'll have a plus sized announcement in the future, say our next season will be released soon, like whatever it is, just freaking tell us, like we're losing
Legitimately,
our wits over here.
I want them to do like a monthly dev showcase, where like, so we're working on this and this, Throne of Thunder, this is Siege of Orgrimmar, this is TBC, and then like say the next month it's like we don't have much to add. As soon as we're done with this new phase, we'll be announcing the next one next month, so we'll have more information to share next month. Then next month's like an 8-minute video. Then like I want them to at one point just random do like a 25-minute video, and 5 minutes of just like regular like MoP or WAD and TBC, and then 15 minutes of completely blurred out nothing that we can't even make out of. Like, this is what we're working on.
Yeah, I think the last thing we've heard from the classic devs was the sod thing.
Mm-hmm.
The
The end of Sod.
Yeah, the what's next, I think is what they called it.
Mm-hmm.
Or like thank you. And it was essentially, it should have been called thank you for playing sod, but um yeah, like I think that's what we got. Yeah, where the roadmap is almost over a year old at this point. Like that's the last thing we knew. It's also wrong. Like if we followed that
Yeah,
roadmap, we would be at TBC by now. Um yeah, it's just like because anniversary's been out for a year now, right? I think it
it'll
came out
be a
around now.
year on November 30th. It'll be
Oh,
a full
okay. It
12
came out
months
the
on
end of
November.
November. I
I
couldn't remember
forget
if it
the
was
exact
Halloween or
date.
not.
I forget the exact date it came out, but it was November something. So we're about to hit 12 months because it came out like it was 2 weeks after Warcraft Direct or a week after Warcraft Direct. So it's been almost a full 12 months, almost not fully there yet, but I will say like we just like if we're not gonna get monthly videos like Diablo,
Yeah, the
fireside
Diablo
chats,
campfires are so good.
or like what Path of Exile, all these other games do. Honestly, every 6 months, give us an updated roadmap.
Yeah, 3 months, 6 months, just I think we're all starving, we're all speculating, and we all have absolutely no idea because the only people who actually know are the devs, and they're dead silent.
And like I'm not saying we needed some insane updates, but just like every 6 months, this is what's come out, this is what's coming soon. Every 3 months, a proper full-on 20-30 minute video talking about design, philosophy, what's coming. I think the player base would love and adore that, to actually get some communication from the dev of any kind. But sadly,
Yeah.
we're here in the silence, in the darkness, as I watch the retail players get weekly goddamn videos, weekly interviews, weekly communications, weekly everything, and we're just over here starving. It's like
Yeah.
it's like the Berlin Wall, and we're in East Berlin, and retail's West Germany.
Damn. I think it's a little bit more extreme than you think, Evan, but I get what you're saying.
But we are gonna end the episode here. So, Kago, is there any final things you want to bring up before we do end the show?
Yeah, on Xaryu's survey, what's the one you disagree with most? The singular topic that you disagree with that maybe his people approved or
Let me bring that survey up real quick. I think the thing I disagreed the most was I'd have to bring the survey up. Wherever I posted it. Here it is. Nope. The thing I disagreed the most was, and it kind of annoyed me, was the more spirit healers. 40% of his community said no. Got that messages. Why would you say no to more spirit healers? How does more spirit healers hurt the game? How does having more spirit healers hurt you? Or flex rating. Half the community voted straight no. It was 50% no for flex rating. You also have like small things like, no to glyphs, which is whatever. Like, I'm not going to be super mad about that. 63% voted no for war mode. I think we should have one mega war mode server. Also, Kago, I think you froze. Did I disconnect or did Kago crash? Hello? Can somebody type something in chat? Is it me or Kago? Kago crashed. Oh, he's back. Oh, he's
hello,
back.
sorry, DC.
You're good. I'm not sure if you heard everything I said, but I was just going over some of the things his community was saying no about. Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, I hear you. There we go. Alright, do you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Did you hear what I said?
Yeah, you were going over some of the things
Okay.
he was saying.
Yeah. But overall, like, I do agree with a lot of what his community voted on. I just didn't agree with everything. Because some things I definitely feel like should have been added to the game. But Kago, my brother, thank you very much for coming on.
Which one did you disagree most with? Sorry.
Okay. We can go back. We can redo that real quick. Okay.
Yeah, we can't end just on that unless you have to go.
I do have to go very soon, but I'm going to quickly add like a note for this. I will have to go back and fix this. Okay. Alright, so what I disagree the most from Xaryu's thing is, for example, Dungeon Finder. He didn't specify, so I'm not sure exactly what he meant at the time, but his community voted 79% overwhelmingly no against Dungeon Finder. They absolutely hated that. They didn't want it at all. And I don't think having a Dungeon Finder by itself is bad. I think having a Dungeon Finder that groups you, teleports you, and that does everything for you is bad. I think being able to queue for a group, people accept you, then you all travel there is a good addition. But it wasn't like fully like explained. Or for example, people voted against flex rating or voted against more spirit healers. You then have people that voted against things, for example, war mode instead of PvP servers, and I think war mode should be a thing. So there are things like
Yeah,
that that they were overwhelming voted no against that I think should have been more yeses or nos. And again, that's my opinion versus what versus Xaryu's community and what people overall want. I don't want them to put war mode if I am the minority that wants war mode in game.
for sure. Mine's the entire new specs. I absolutely want shaman tanks, warlock
Mm-hmm.
tanks, mage healers fine too, just so we have more healers.
Mm-hmm.
I really, really like those. Rogue tank is the only one that I hated because it was never balanced. It was either bis or ass and no in between.
True.
And I think it really needed a like actual talent tree and spec to be balanced and good. But I really, really disagree with that one personally,
No,
if
absolutely.
that's what they mean.
No, I'm right there with you. I do think that is what they meant. I think they meant like brand new specs like Void Demon Hunter, for example, rather than like Shaman Tank or Warlock Tank. But it's a. I don't think people liked Mage Healer or Rogue Tank, but I think things like Shaman Tank or stuff like that was things people were
Yeah,
okay with. I think it was
shaman
more
and
of a
warlock
yeah.
for sure.
But Kago, my brother, thank you so much for coming on. Let everybody know where they can find you.
You can find me over at YouTube at Kago Gaming. I post daily WoW videos. Right now it's been MoP and Legion Remix. Yeah, pretty much whatever's the most current. You bet your ass when we get Classic Plus, I'll be slamming that like crazy. And yeah, I'm streaming daily over at twitch.tv/Kago Gaming. So if you want to stop by there too as well, anything helps out. But pretty much Kago Gaming everywhere.
He's an absolute legend, so go follow him and check him out everywhere. And my name is Ebonheart. Y'all know me. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next episode where we're gonna get some non-WoW, non-Classic Plus discussions going on about other MMOs in the industry. Thank you all. Ebonheart out. Peace.
Other ones.